Today's session we'll discuss about AWS Console, okay, and EC2 also we'll discuss. Say here this is AWS Management Console, okay. So what is this Management Console? We'll discuss. Assume we want to administrate AWS. So we want to administrate the AWS. Then what is the basic method we have is as an administrator we have the beautiful GUI. That GUI is called as AWS Management Console we have. Okay, so we have the AWS Management Console. What is the main advantages? Through the GUI at the learning phase, at the initial stage, we can understand the AWS services, all these through GUI. But going forward, don't expect we should do or administrate everything through GUI. There are the other methods also, and those we'll discuss going forward. Okay, but the initial stage, which tool we are using to administrate AWS resources? AWS Management Console. AWS Management Console is a web-based administrative console, and we can log into that AWS Management Console and we can administrate. And in the AWS Management Console, what we have is we have the admin or root account access we have. Okay, so today I log into the root account. So that means whenever we create an account, like we are going to give our email ID, that account is the root account. But what AWS is telling to us is, don't log into the AWS using the root account. Okay, so that means only for the first time we need to create and we need to log in as the root account. The second time onwards, we shouldn't use the root account. What we need to use is, we need to create an IAM user. Okay, and IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Okay, so we need to log into that through the IAM user itself. Okay, so here I'll show how to we can log in. Okay, so now here we have AWS console we have. So if we go to the AWS Management Console, so now while sign in, like one method what we can use is, we can log in using the root account. Okay, otherwise we can log in as an IAM user. Okay, so in the real time, can you tell me which one we need to use? In the real time, which one we need to use? IAM or
IAM.
IAM? So who will create that is in the company, that root account guy. For the first administrator, he is going to create the IAM, and using that itself, we are going to log in from the next time onwards. From the next time onwards, we are going to log in using that IAM itself. Okay, but as of now, I log in as the I log in as
Root user.
a root user. Is it a best practice or not?
Yes, sir.
No, no. Login as the root user or working with the root user is not the best practice. Okay, so we shouldn't do in the real time those. Okay, and what is your understanding of this AWS Management Console? It's a GUI base and cloud base. We no need to do anything. We just need to have an account. Either that's maybe a root account or IAM account. And in the real time, we are going to use the IAM account. And whatever the administrative events we have performed, can you tell me the service name where all those have been tracked? Where all these services are going to store?
Tino.
So all the administrative events in the AWS are going to store in which service? So what is the service name?
Active Directory.
Come again?
Active Directory.
No, not Active Directory. All the administrative events are going to store in all the administrative events are going to store in the cloud trial. So what is the service?
Cloud trial.
Cloud trial is the service. Okay. If everyone log in as the root user, what is the problem? If everyone log in as the root user, what is the problem?
Uh,
Don't get that
I think we
administrative
can.
events, right? That is the reason for individuals, for
Yes.
everyone, we need to create IAM users, and it's mandatory they need to log in with the IAM user itself. And in the real time, it's mandatory also for one of the company standard should be we need to enable MFA. What is the meaning of MFA? What is the concept of
Multi-factor
MFA?
authentication.
Multi-factor authentication. Even in the Gmail also, once you log into Gmail username password, that it is going to ask a like maybe like a to your mobile, it will send one like a OTP kind of thing, or it sends 3 numbers. We need to select that number, right? Okay, that means Google also is providing us multi-factor authentication for us. In the same way, even in our enterprise also, we need to enable multi-factor authentication. Okay, so these all we'll discuss. So now, as of now, we need to log in as the IAM user or root user. Through which we need to log in. We need to log in using
IAM.
IAM user itself. We need to log in, not as the root user. Okay, so then the another method of how we can administrate AWS is AWS having one more method called as CLI. CLI stands for
Command line interface.
okay. So even through the command line also we can automate. Okay, some of the things like where we have the some bulk operations, even we can use the CLI also is one of the best method. Okay, that means we should have the good expertise on the GUI, and even second one is AWS CLI also we should have the good method. The third method what we can use is AWS API or SDK we can use. So what is this meaning is programmatic. Okay, so in the programmatic, maybe the developers can use that their Java code, Python code, or .NET code. So using that programmatically, also we can access those web services. What is the meaning of AWS? Amazon Web Services. That means AWS is providing some set of web services, and programmatically also we can use. Instead of like using that programmatically, we are using GUI or CLI. Okay, so whose role this is? This is not our role. Okay, so like it's a developer kind of job role. What is the meaning of SDK? Software Development Kit. Okay, even in the same way, now we have CDK also, like it's going to be provided using that SDK, CDK, or web services APIs, we can manage. Okay, the fourth method is IAC. IAC stands for infrastructure as a
Infrastructure as a code.
code. Okay,
Code.
so in this, AWS have their own solution called as Cloud Formation. So what is the solution name? Cloud Formation is the solution name. Okay, then we are going to use third-party leader also is there in the IAC. Terraform also. There are some hundreds of third-party tools also we can use for the IAC kind of thing or to administrate AWS like that. But one of the leader for the IAC is Terraform we have. Okay. Another method is from the AWS wise, what is the IAC solution? AWS wise, what is the IAC solution? Cloud Formation. Okay. AWS wise, Cloud Formation is the solution. Okay. And Terraform also is a third party leader. But when we go for the Terraform, it's not only supporting okay AWS. It supports Azure, it supports GCP or private clouds also. Like this, more than 1,000 providers also it supports. Among those, one provider is AWS itself. But for cloud formation, it supports only
AWS.
AWS itself. Okay, so if someone asks about what is the difference between CloudFormation and Terraform is, CloudFormation supports only AWS itself. But whereas Terraform is the IAC for more than 1,000 plus providers, it is supporting. More than 1,000 plus providers, it is supporting. Okay, so these are all the different 5 ways we can administrate our AWS resources. First one is management console. Okay, second one is, what is the second one?
CLI,
CLI, AWS command line we can use. Third one is
AWS API,
AWS APIs or SDKs. Who will use that?
it's a developers.
Mostly it's a developer kind of job role. We also should have the basic knowledge on that. Okay, maybe at least using the Python we should able to do. Okay, but IAC is pure our job role itself. It's not developer job role. But even we have the infrastructure as the code, even its code is there. It's not a programmatical kind of thing. It's a human readable kind of. It's a human readable kind of thing. And we are going to get the IAC. Okay, and what are the solutions we have for the IAC?
So we have CloudFormation and
Yeah,
Terraform
CloudFormation is a AWS inbuilt solution. And the second one we have is
and
Terraform.
which
Okay,
supports mostly all the
Terraform we
providers.
can use one of the leader. I have one doubt here. I have a hybrid kind of cloud or multi-cloud kind of environment. Then which IAC solution is the better one?
The Terraform.
Terraform supports. Even we have a lot of advantages why we need to go for Terraform. But we need to learn both AWS, we need to learn CloudFormation, and Terraform also we should have. But more expertise is required on
Terraform.
Terraform wise. More expertise is required on the Terraform. Okay. Any doubts on this? As of now, first 1 week we'll discuss from the like a GUI, but going forward we'll manage from CLI, we'll manage from CloudFormation, we'll manage from Terraform also.
Sure.
Okay. Then coming back to this AWS, so this is the management. It's a GUI kind of console, and here we can list all the AWS services also. Spend minimum 2 to 3 hours and go through all these services also. A to Z, almost how many services we have? So we have more
230.
than 230 plus services we have, and those analytics, all those we have. So what are those analytics applications? Those are not the service names. So those are the categories. So those are the categories we have. So analytics is one category, compute is one category. So mostly now in the compute we have EC2. And here the star is there, right? We can keep that as a favorite. Mostly which of the frequent use services we can keep as the favorite also. Okay. So spend more time in all these services. So what are the database related services? What are the developer tool services? What are the end user computing kind of services? All that just try to understand. Okay, so then here first we are going to discuss EC2. So EC2 stands for
Elastic Compute Cloud.
Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, so Elastic Compute Cloud is going to provide the computing resources. That means it's going to provide the virtual servers for us. Or maybe we can call that as instance. Now they're using the term called virtual servers, but in the initial days, they're not that much convenient to use the word called virtual servers. They used to use more instances. But instance is nothing but it's a virtual computing server itself. Okay, it's a virtual computing server. We can launch the instance also. And I hope what is this? This is the search, which of the service you want to go search, you can search here. Like maybe VPC related, all these VPC related, all these services also you can search. Okay, so then we have one more solution here, right? This is the Cloud Shell. What is the concept of Cloud Shell is? So what is the concept of that cloud shell is? So instead of CLI in the browser itself, we can use cloud shell. In the browser itself, we are going to use cloud shell. That means we no need to install CLI also. Here we have this, right? What is this icon? Cloud shell. Okay. So normally we can take on your laptop, we can install CLI, but without having that also, in the browser itself, we can run the commands also. So for that, we are going to use cloud shell. We are going to use. Okay. So these here we can type the commands also. Like AWS is the command line tool. And from the AWS, we are going to manage whatever the commands you want to type, all these also we can run. Okay, what is the command line tool is? AWS is our command line tool. Okay, so this, I hope you understand, right? What is Cloud Shell? It's a browser-based CLI tool. Okay, instead of doing the things from the GUI wise, we can do everything from
Cloud shell.
from
Cloud
the
shell.
CLI itself. Okay, so then we have one more solution is there. Say this one we have. This is also very, very important. Most of the important notifications, all those also will get this. And we can see the health events also, all also. If any important updates are there here, we are going to get it. And this is support. So what is that meaning is, if you have any issues regarding the AWS, all that we can contact the support also. Okay, even for the free tier also, we can contact the support, but compared to enterprise kind of versions, they will respond time is more time. Okay, but here you can contact even in the support center also, spend some time, and you can post your issues also to the AWS. Then if that is in the scope of that AWS, then they're going to provide the support also for us. But as of now, in the free tier, we are getting our support plan is basic plan. Like enterprises, we have the different plans. Just check this enterprise plans also. What are the different plans we have in the market also? Like, sorry, from the AWS wise, try to check that. Okay. Then, like as of now, we don't have any cases, and even the end-to-end communication regarding that issue also, we can get this. Then here, these are the settings we have. Like you can see the dark mode or all the user settings. Spend some time on this to get the ease of accessing. And whenever I go to support here, if I got the global means that service is a global service. But for most of the services, the scope is region. Okay, so now we are in the EC2, right? What this is, if it is showing North Virginia means that is a regional service. But support is, it's a global kind of service. Okay, and here for the every service we can see here, and we know Hyderabad, right? So Hyderabad, what is the ID? For every region, we have an ID also. So for every region, we have an ID. So what is that ID for North Virginia?
US East
US
1.
East 1. US East 1. Okay. So then for Mumbai,
So AP South 1.
AP means it's Asian Pacific. Okay. So AP stands for it's an Asian Pacific. Okay. And in that, we will have US East 1A, 1B, 1C. Those are not region IDs. Those are for zone names. Okay, so can you tell me, we have 3 zones in Hyderabad, then AP South 2A, 2B,
2B,
2C.
2C.
Okay, so like this mostly we'll get. Okay, so these are the different what we have, regions we have. But for the free account, all the regions, they're not enabled. Okay, so we are going to get more than 35 plus regions also we have. 35 plus regions also we have, but they didn't enable all those for the free account. Okay, and this is our user, and we got an account ID, right? We'll get a 12-digit account ID for every account ID. Say in the cross account kind of communication, definitely we need to know the account ID also. We need to know that account ID also. We need to know very well. Okay, so in our use case, what is our account ID? 430118831478. That is our account ID. Okay, so then here we can see the as of now, what is the AWS organization is? If you have the multiple accounts, those also we can control by from the organization level, and all the account details also here you can see. Okay, again, if I go to the account also, it's maybe a global kind of service. At least you need to tell 10 to 15 services which are global, but most of the services are it's regional level.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now here you need to spend minimum 30-40 minutes in all these, just explore once. Okay, so these are here we have a lot of things, right? Try to spend some time. Okay, try to get some ease of accessing the portal, because we need to tell where we manage this portal for 3 to 4 years. But 2 years back, 3 years back, we may have the old console, because it's a cloud-based, right? We don't get that one. If it is an installer, we can install the old version and we can see. Okay, so but this is the newer version itself we have. Okay, so then this is very, very important. For our account, there would be a quota. Okay, so by default, they don't give infinity kind of things for every user. Especially in the free tier also, they don't give the like all the services with all the quotas. There would be some restrictions for us from the quota wise, and that quota for your account to another account, it may varies also. And most of them by default, it's maybe same also for some services. For some services, the quota maybe varies. That quota here we need to manage. The quota here we can check that quota also. And what we can do is, in the quota request template, even we can request for more quota also. But that is who need to decide that? Even if I request to AWS also, who need to decide that whether need to increase or not? That is the AWS decision. Okay, so based on the AWS, they are going to decide whether to increase the quota or not. Okay, so that is okay. So spend some time on this quota and that quota request, and very, very important is billing and cost management. So even we can see how much billing. Mostly we have the free tier kind of account, right? Okay, in the real time, these all the features may be disabled for you. Okay, so spend some time on the billing and the cost management also, because here we are logging as the root account, will have the more permissions, right? In the real time account, you don't get the access for all these also, because at the IAM level, they're going to restrict all those for us. Okay. Then here we have the security credentials also. So for programmatic access, we want to have the access key and the secret key. And for AWS code commit, SSH certificates, all those we can set up here. Okay, so we can assign MFA device, and we can key the access key and the secret key, CloudFront key pairs, say for the certificates, all these we can generate from this. All the security credentials also. But for the root users, creating all these are not the best practice. Always better to use for the IAM user. Okay, so these all spend some time. Then we'll come to EC2. So again, I'll search for EC2. Okay, so then here we have the EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So we need to create, manage, and monitor those virtual servers from the AWS cloud.
Shrikant, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
When we create this IAM users, will it be
No,
chargeable?
no. For IAM users, they don't charge you.
అయ్యి అక్కడ డబ్బాలు ఇంత డబ్బాలు నువ్వు పప్పులు ఉండి
Okay,
తింటా అంటావు చూసావా
for IAM users, there is no
అవి ఇది తీసురా ఇది
charges.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so that billing, how the cost would be calculated, those also we'll discuss. Okay, so definitely for EC2 instances they will charge, but in the free account they're giving some free tier kind of eligible instances. Those only we need to use. Those are not in the chargeable kind of thing.
డబ్బాల దగ్గర ఒక
And for
డబ్బాలు
every month we
తెల్లగా
are
ఉంటాయి
going
కదా,
to
చిన్నవి.
get. For every month
అప్పుడు.
we are going to get
చూడు పక్కన
750 hours we can use. Okay, so how much time we can use those?
750 hours.
Yeah, hello?
750 hours
Yeah, for 750 hours we can use.
for the free tier. Only
In
for
the
the free tier, right?
but that also free tier eligible instances types only we need to choose.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's I will explain how we can see, know whether those are free tier eligible or not. We'll discuss. Okay, but as of now, EC2 is providing virtual servers. As the name suggests, it's Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 is providing us the computing kind of capabilities like CPU and memory we are getting. So that provides the computing kind of capabilities we are getting. Okay, and EBS is providing the persistent volumes, and VPC is providing networking for this. That means here we are using EC2 means in the backend without knowing to us also, we are working with EBS and VPC also we are working. Okay. Yeah, any doubts on this?
No, Shrikant.
So then here I'm going to launch the instance. So now here we have in the orange, right? Launch instance we have. Okay, so otherwise we can go to the dashboard also, go to this dashboard. So now here how many instances as of now it's running. Okay, and what is this dashboard and this global view is, by default they're displaying all the resources region level itself. But a lot of people has requested for the global view also. That's the reason they're trying to implement global view. Because in another region, if I have an instance, I don't know in this. Okay, so then here I'm going to instances. Now I can launch for an instance. I can launch for an instance. So now here, this is a very easy thing. I hope you know how to book a laptop or how to book a mobile in the like Flipkart or Amazon, right? Creating an instance also is not a big deal. Don't worry about that. In the next 3 to 4 days, we'll repeat this and we'll try to get some connections, how to connect, how to manage different methods, how we can connect, all those we'll discuss. Okay, so now here we have launch an instance. So in the launch an instance, I'm going to give a name and a tag. So what is the tag we'll discuss? Name is also a tag itself, but this is not the actual host name, or it's not the DNS name. Only from the AWS wise we are going to give. So I'll give cloud server 001. And in our company also, for this naming also, we'll have the naming conventions. And according to that itself, we need to keep the naming patterns. Okay, so now here we are going to use cloud server 001 I have used here. Okay, then the second we need to use is AMI. What is the concept of the AMI is Amazon Mission Image in the normal, if you want maybe one operating system, we need to install the operating system, maybe Windows or Linux or Mac, we need to install. But with the AMI, what is the advantage is, it's already having the operating systems and applications or databases, all those inbuilt we are getting. And from that, we can choose whatever we want. Okay, so from that, we can choose whatever we want. So that is the advantage of using. That is the advantage of using
AMI.
AMI. If someone asks about AMI, is nothing but it's a OS template, and it's having already pre-configured OS images. Then we may have even application servers, applications, databases also. It's pre-configured, and with this, what is the advantage is, we no need to install the OS from the scratch. Because we don't know how to install Windows servers, we don't know how to install Mac, we don't know how to install Linux. All that complexity also has been hidden for us. Okay, and we sometimes we may get even with application servers also. One thing we have SAP. SAP, a lot of people doesn't know how to install. Even who are learning SAP also, they're paying 2,000, 3,000 to the some of the software installations they're installing. But in the companies, there would be a separate team for those. That's called as maybe basis and security kind of teams. But in the AWS, what is the advantage is, in the EC2 AMI, we may get with the SAP pre-configured AMI also is available. If I spin up that or if I launch it, then I don't need to worry about.
OS.
Not only OS, even SAP installation also I don't need to worry. Okay, so that's the advantage of using the AMIs. Mostly the operating system installations have been eliminated from the cloud. If it is a VM, previously we used to install, even in the VMs also, we have the template kind of concept. So whatever we are calling this Amazon mission image, in the virtualization, that's called as a template. Okay, so but what is the template is? It's already pre-configured one we have. Okay, so from that we are going to use. So now here we have some thousands of AMIs are available, but for us they're showing only 10 to 15 as of now. But here you can browse hundreds of AMIs. So not hundreds, even thousands of AMIs also available. But so now can you tell me some of the AMIs what we have here?
Amazon Linux, Mac
Amazon
OS,
Linux,
Mac OS, Ubuntu,
Mac
Windows,
OS we have, Ubuntu we have, Windows, Red Hat,
Red Hat,
UK Linux,
SUSE.
then Debian. Okay, so even so now here what is Amazon Linux is? Linux is an open source. Everyone can develop their own flavors of Linux also. Okay, so everyone can develop their own flavors of Linux. Okay, so in this use case, Amazon also is providing their own Linux called as Amazon Linux. Okay, so then Ubuntu company provides Ubuntu Linux. Okay, Red Hat provides Red Hat Linux. Fedora will have Fedora. CentOS will have CentOS. Now here, try to understand which type of operating systems are there in the EC2 as of now is Linux we have. In the Linux, there are some hundreds of distributions we have. Important distributions we have is Red Hat, Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, Debian, now Amazon Linux. Okay, say in Azure, Azure also nowadays is giving Microsoft Linux also. Okay, so that's like we have the Linux is there, and second one is like we have Mac also we have. The third one is Windows. When I'm talking about the Windows means it's not Windows 10, Windows 11, not the desktop class. It's a server class. Maybe Windows 19, that means 2019, 2016, 2022, now 25 also is available. These Windows servers we are getting from the cloud. So which is not supporting as of now is Unix is not supported. So Linux, Mac, Windows servers are supported. Which is not supported? Unix. So in the Unix we have HP having HP Linux, or Solaris. Okay, IBM having AX. So these all the products we have in the market. Okay, but hardware wise, they are mostly using Intel based kind of virtualization, and at that level, this virtualization is not supported. Okay, if someone asks about whether AWS is supporting Unix operating systems, means what we need to tell? Is it really supporting Unix or not?
No.
It is not supporting Unix. So Linux, Mac, Windows servers, it is supporting. Okay, but if I go for Azure, Azure is supporting only Linux and Windows. It is not supporting Unix and Mac. It is not supporting Unix and
Mac.
Mac is not supported. Maybe in the future they may support Mac also. Okay. Yeah. Any doubts on this? So now here I'm going to use maybe Amazon Linux. I'm choosing, or maybe I choose Ubuntu here. Again, in the Ubuntu, we have the different type of AMIs are available. Now try to understand Ubuntu 24.04 is different, 22.04 is different. Okay, and always we need to make sure free tier eligible only, because if you don't use free tier eligible, what is the problem for us? AWS will charge the money for us. Okay, so now here we have this Ubuntu 22.04 LTS HVM with SQL Server 2022 standard we have, right? What is the risk if I choose that AMI? What is the risk? That is not free tier. Then for the usage, we need to pay the money to that. That's the reason don't use which are not free tier eligible. Always choose the AMIs which are free tier eligible, and 22.04 and 24.04 are the different versions of Ubuntu. And what is that meaning of LTS or LTSR is? It's a long-term support release. Okay, so always it's recommended to use the long-term support releases. What is the advantage is more support is available from Ubuntu for this. Okay, if you don't choose LTSR versions, what is the risk?
Get only 2 years.
Yeah, maybe Ubuntu may be upgraded a newer version, and if it is not LTSR, we don't get the support. Definitely, we may need to go for newer version. Okay, so in the production environments, most of the companies always prefer to use stable versions, and mostly the product owner will give them as LTSR versions. What is that meaning of LTSR?
Long-term support version.
Support release. And what is the HVM and SSD also will discuss. HVM is the hypervisor virtual machine. That means this is running on a virtualization hypervisor, mostly Gen source we have. And hard disk, we are getting solid state drivers. It is SSD. So that's EBS volume is SSD. We'll discuss this also in the EBS. Okay. So for whatever we have here, specialization is there for that. What is this ENA enabled virtualization is HVM. Okay. Root device type is EBS. For everything, there is one information they are going to provide for us. And here we have Intel base, we have x86 and AMD base also we can choose. As of now, I'm choosing x86 is nothing but Intel base. Then very, very important is previously we choose an AMI type. The second we are, or maybe third setting we are choosing is instance type. Whenever you are purchasing a laptop, also you will choose the how much like CPU, right? i3, i5, i7. Like previously we have P2, P3, P4, or maybe cell run. We have the different type of hardware, different type of CPU, different type of memory. All those we are going to get it from the AWS wise. We have the different set of instance types are available, and depends on our requirement. We need to suggest the best instance type to the customer also. Means we need to have the good knowledge on what are the types of instance types available in AWS. What are the types of instance types are available in AWS? Okay, so we have. Okay, but as of now, why we are choosing T2.micro? Because that is free
So,
tier eligible.
free time.
Okay, so why we are
Apple.
choosing in the real time, we shouldn't use T2.micro. Maybe for dev environments, we maybe say suppose even if it is still free tier eligible, we may use. But in the production, we don't use T2.micro. But in this use case, why we are using T2.micro is it's a
free
free
tier
tier eligible. And how much CPUs we are getting? Those are CPUs or virtual CPUs?
So virtual CPUs.
The virtual CPUs, not the physical kind of CPUs, but in the hypervisor, we'll get that virtual CPUs. And how much memory we are getting?
1 GB memory.
1 GB. In some of the new regions, okay, in some of the new regions, what happened is the T2 hardware is not available. In the older regions, say suppose we have in the North Virginia, right? In some of the new regions, T2 hardware is not available. In that use case, AWS is giving T3.micro as free time. Okay, but in North Virginia, T2.micro, if you use, okay, say T3.micro is not at free of cost. But in which regions T3.micro they are giving at free tier? If T2 hardware is not available in the new regions, okay, at that moment they are giving T3.micro as that free tier. Okay, but before creating, make sure it's a free tier or not. But we have a different type of instance types we have. We'll discuss all those. But in the real time, don't tell we use in the production T2.micro. Okay. Then we have the key pair. What is the concept of the key pair is, for the AWS, we are not getting passwords mostly. We are going to use the key pair in the SSH kind of authentication. We have the crypto kind of encryptions are there, and we have a public key and a private key, and we are going to get a key pair that is more secure compared to passwords. In the AWS, we are not using the passwords. We are going to use key pairs. What is the concept of the key pair is? Okay, so what is the concept of the key pair is? We have a public key and the private key, both have been paid, and we'll have some algorithms also, like which are approved by the all the security kind of companies, all those international standards. And using that, we are going to create a key pair, and with the instance, we'll have the public key, and with us, we have the private key. And anyone in the world can access that instance by having the key pair only. If you don't have the key pair, then it's almost impossible to connect to that instance. And compared to the password also, it's more secure kind of method. Okay, so now as of now, we don't have any key pairs. That is the reason here I'm going to create a new key pair also. So here I'm going to give the name for this. Okay, so my key pair. Okay, and we have two different algorithms we have. One is RSA is one encryption algorithm, and in the new method we have ED25519. Among these, the new companies, new algorithm itself, lot of companies are preferred, but RSA also is a proven one already. Okay, so then here the file formats, we are getting two file formats. One is .pem file and second one is .ppk. Okay, so we can download any of those. Okay, so either PEM file or PPK file, but initial days download PEM itself. Okay, so now here coming to that key pair. So what is the concept of the key pair is? So we have a pair of public key and private key we have, and we are going to pair both of them, and public key resides with the instance and the private key we are going to give to us, and we need to share that private key to the people who want to access that instance, and both have been encrypted one, and to that encryption algorithms we have is RSA is one and ED25519 is that, and ED25519 is the new encryption algorithm. And coming to the file formats, we are getting the extension of .pem file and .ppk file. And initial days use the PEM file itself. That PEM file extension name is private enhanced mail. In the open SSH kind of, or in the like a Linux systems is recommended to use .pem, but we have putty is one of the device. For the putty, PEM is not supported. That is the reason we are converting into .ppk. That is called as putty private key. Okay, so for the putty we are converting into PPK, but in the open SSL kind of, or in the Linux we are using PEM itself. What is that PEM extension name is private enhanced mail, and .ppk is putty private key. And for Windows, ED25519 encryption algorithm is not supported. Okay, if you are choosing a Windows instance, ED25519 is not supported. There we need to use RSA and .pem itself is used. For the first 1 week, okay, use RSA and .pem itself. After that, you decide, and depends upon our company, we can decide. Okay? Any doubts? Any doubts on this?
No. Once we check the recording, so if we ask, so then we can respond.
Come again.
So right now, no any like doubts. So once we check the videos also, we analyze. So if anything
I'm sorry, your voice is
is
very
not
low. 1 second.
no, okay.
Yeah, please tell me.
What I'm saying, so right now there is no any like doubts. So once we check the videos and we saw the video, so if anything is not understand, so then we can respond.
Sure. Sorry, anyone can explain me? I'm not getting his voice.
Shrikant, he's saying that he don't have any doubts right now.
Okay.
He gonna watch the video. If we get any
Sure.
doubts, he
If
said he
you
gonna
have any doubts before starting the session, we can discuss. Okay, so these all practically tomorrow will connect also. Then like next like every day we'll connect to the instances. Okay.
Previous video, some points is missing. Hello?
I didn't get you.
Actually, previous you send the classes.
Yeah.
Some 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 instructions is missing that videos.
No,
Online
everything
classes
is
and
there.
videos are very different.
Everything we shared, all the 4 classes videos we shared.
But you not explain the some video, but
Didn't explain the.
some video. 1 second.
I'll share more videos also today.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone asking the practicals, right? So that's the
Yes.
reason I moved to this, but more videos also I'll share to understand these in a better way.
Okay, can you send the
Sure, sure.
how to create the AWS management?
Account, that is
Yes.
easy.
That
Try
is a
to
very
create.
difficult to create because of some issues.
Okay. So that's we'll see.
Okay.
Account creation is not a big issue. We'll
Okay.
try to.
Showing some
Yeah.
instructions.
That's one consideration we have is in your bank account, try to open international transactions.
Okay.
At least for 100, 200 rupees.
Okay.
Open, you'll have a card control, right, in your net banking.
Yes.
In that enable, then create the account.
Okay.
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 If I have any problem, we'll discuss that.
Okay, sure.
So now this is going to download the key pair for us. Okay. So definitely here my key pair I given already, that name may be there. That's the reason I got that one. Okay. But my key pair dot one dot pem is created. Then here as of now, this is very, very important. Already AWS provided as one VPC also. And subnet also is no preference, means AWS itself is selecting. But going forward, we need to keep all this, the control. As of now, I'm going with the default options, but going forward, everything we need to keep in our control. And auto assign public IP also we are enabling. Means automatically we'll get one public IP also. Then here we have one more thing is there called as security group. What is the concept of the security group is AWS is providing one firewall for us, and in that firewall rule, we are opening these port numbers. For the Linux mission, it's mandatory. We need to open SSH traffic. Okay, so that means if I don't open SSH traffic for 22 port, I can't connect to that instance. Even if I create the instance also, there is no use because
It's a sec.
firewall is blocking me.
Yes.
But what is that security group is nothing but security group is a firewall rule. Okay. And if it is a Windows, it's mandatory. We need to open the port number RDP, that is for 3389, remote desktop protocol. The remote desktop protocol we need to take. Okay. And that is called as RDP protocol. If we don't open RDP, then also I can't connect to that instance. Okay. For the Linux, which port we need to open? For the Linux, we need to open the port number 22. And for Windows, we need to open
3389.
3389. That is for the RDP, we need to open that port. Okay. So now here, if you want a web server kind of thing, then we need to enable HTTP, HTTPS also. But as of now, I'm not going to set up that. That is the reason I'm not going to keep that. Okay. So I'm not going to keep the HTTPS as of now, or HTTP. Okay. So then another very, very important here is the storage is nothing but it's a EBS volume. Storage is nothing but it's an EBS volume we are using. Okay. And in the EBS, as of now, how much storage they're giving for us? 8 GB itself. Okay. Why we are using only 8 GB is for the free tier, they given only 30 GB for us. Okay. So for the 30 GB itself we are getting. So that is the reason we are using 8 GB for this instance. But if it is a like a Windows, minimum we require 30 GB. Okay. For Windows, minimum we required 30 GB. And what is this GP3 also we'll discuss. Like these are the different type of EBS volumes. As of now, GP3 is general purpose. That stands for general purpose 3. Previously, we have GP2 also. General purpose 2. Okay. But GP2 itself, they are giving free of cost. Okay. There are provisioned also IO1 and IO2. Why we are not choosing this is Okay, so why we are using that? Why we are not
Because
using is
it's
that's expensive
yeah,
because
it's
that's
chargeable.
not in the free tier. That is not in the
Free time.
free tier. Okay, so that's the reason we are using GP3 is the best one in the free tier. Okay, then we have even advanced options also. And when I launch the instance, that instance is getting launched for us. Okay, that instance is getting launched. Okay, so when we launch the instance, we are getting an instance ID also. We are getting an instance ID also, one unique instance ID, and here the status is initializing and the instance state comes to running, and we'll get lot of details. We'll get the lot of details also. These also will control. We got the public IP, private IP, and we didn't get any IPv6 address. We got IPv4 addresses itself, and one public DNS name, host name, which subnet. Then like even we have the status 1x2 status check, 2x2 status check. These all status checks, monitoring. So spend some time in all this. Okay, then here in the instance state, I can do like maybe stop the instance. Once I stop, I can start reboot. Windows, we can get the hibernate mode also and terminate the instance. So these are the life cycle of the instance also we'll discuss. What are the stages an instance can go. And if you don't want what we can do, we can terminate that instance also. Okay, so if we terminate, like everything is going to be clean up. Okay, so try to create an account and try to create this EC2 instances. Now again, I'll go to an instance. I'm going to give like again launch instance is shutting down. After that, it goes to terminate also. Then again, I'm going to this EC2 instance. I'm giving my Windows Server 002. I'm giving. Okay, so then here this time I need to choose the Windows I need to choose. Okay, and here we have Windows Server 2025. I don't want 25 means we can choose 22 also. But if we choose the core kind of edition, we don't get GUI. That's the reason don't choose core. Better to choose. Better to choose the. Better to choose the. Like base itself. Don't choose core edition. Okay, say 22 base I'm choosing. Sorry, it's went to Mac. So remaining all the steps are almost the same. But in the security group, instead of SSH will get RDP port. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol, and that port number is, what is that RDP port number?
3389.
3389.
9. Okay, so now we'll choose that Windows Server itself. Then here I'm choosing the key pair. Previous key pair also I can use, or we can create a new key pair also. Then I'm going with the default. Here RDP I'm choosing Remote Desktop Protocol and the port number 3389, and by default we'll get 30 GB for this. Okay, so this is we are getting.
Srikanth,
Yeah.
I have a question. So for Linux and for Windows, so the both same key pair can be used for both.
Yes, yes, we can use, but not a best practice.
Okay.
Okay, so if both the instances have the same key pair, if I share the Windows key pair to that guy, he can access Linux machine also.
I am.
Okay, that's in the enterprise level, it's maybe a risky kind of thing. So in which scenario we can go is both I want to give the access, then we can go for that. Okay, both I want access with the same key, then I can give. But technically that is possible, but the scope is within the region only. Means other region key pair I can't use in this region.
Okay. Oh, even for region wise, it should be
Yeah,
different.
it's a region. Most of the EC2 is at the region level.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So then once we click the launch, it's going to create. Okay. So till this, try to practice. Okay. So till this, try to practice the instance. Tomorrow also we'll discuss this, but we'll try to connect to those instances also. Yeah. Any doubts?
So they have some issues creation of AWS accounts here.
That itself I said, right? Open that net banking international limits. Then try to create that account. And if you have any problem, try to contact that because sometimes they may ask the Aadhaar, all those also. Try to
They
submit
must have,
properly those
they,
details.
they complete the 4 steps. The final step was they have 24 hours time
Yeah,
limit.
that it takes 24 hours also to start that, but we can try to log in. But EC2 instance provisioning, all that, they need some validations with you. Okay.
Okay.
Can you provide running notes, sir?
Which one?
Can you provide running notes or steps?
Yes, yes. These all just self-explore for 1 to 2 days.
Yes.
Okay. So based on that, if you have any doubts, because these all millions of people already used it. And instead of lab steps, I prefer more ad hoc way practice initial days. If you have any doubts or if you stuck somewhere, we'll discuss that. Because there is no rule like in this way itself, we need to do this. Try to navigate. If you stuck somewhere, we'll discuss that one. Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss how to connect to those instances. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.